All right, welcome everyone. November 18th, this is a special meeting to include and start with a public hearing for some of our budget issues. Again, it's 11:01 a.m. and we'll start with a roll call. I'm Bruce Ansell.
Rich Bossman.
John Crawford.
Kimberly McMurray.
Jason Vanderveen.
And we have Matt Paxton is here. Michael Finley is joining us. And Scott is on his phone, Scott Brown. And I'd like to note that, sorry for looking over to the right, I'm in a different desk setup today. So Scott Fisher is excused. And just for the record, will probably be excused through the end of the year for some medical issues that he's following up with. So, all right. So I guess on our agenda, we've got the volunteer pension board meeting up first. I think it's just an approval of minutes. So, if there's a motion to approve those minutes, I'll entertain that.
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
Any discussion? I don't think there has been anything except opening and closing meetings for those things. Chief, is there anything else before the pension board that's going to happen?
No, sir.
Okay, so it's just approval of the minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. We'll close the pension board meeting and open the public hearing. The public hearing, the purpose of it is to allow us to manage our budget increase of the 1% from the highest lawful levy since 1985. We have to identify substantial need, which I think in my opinion, we have more than substantial need. It is weird now because it is a public hearing. We've announced that through our regular channels. And it's my understanding that we didn't get anyone sign up to speak at or for the public hearing. Is that correct, Chief?
Yes, sir.
All right, so foregoing any sort of public comment, we have resolution 2021-07, which is the 1% increase resolution. And that is something we have exercised, I believe, every year since I've been here as a commissioner. Again, the restrictions on our ability to collect taxes is capped at 1%, and when the county does their figures, we come in just under that. The value of that huge amount is like under $64,000, believe it or not, which doesn't even come close to taking care of cost of living increases. But it is what it is, and that's what we've got to deal with. So is there a motion to approve resolution 2021-07, allowing us to collect the 1%?
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion, questions, comments, concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, it's unanimous, and then that'll be in the packet to be signed when you folks show up today. The second item on this public hearing is, the levy certification. Chief, do you want to walk us through that?
I will, to the best of my ability. This form, and Mr. Paxton, if I'm headed off the wrong track, please stop me before I look too foolish. This form has been used for the last 2 years. We are basically going to send our, the county calls it the budget, before the county council, and it will have to be approved since we are a junior taxing district. What we're telling the county is we want to levy the max amount we can, as provided by law. As in addition, we get an administrative refund amount, which, if I remember correctly, it is basically a settlement from last year from the county based on some the way they round numbers. So it's just some additional funds that should have come to the district last year, but will come in 2022. So what you see on that form is the total certified levy request is $6,597,438.70. And then the administrative refund amount is $29,846.75 is what we're going to tell the county. That is what we need to operate next year. I'm told that this is a rubber stamp process, that the county council doesn't actually take a deep dive into line iteming our budget. They just want to know what the junior taxing districts are authorizing, and so that there is transparency, that they take responsibility for what the junior districts in the county are doing. That is the purpose of this form. Mr. Paxton, do you have anything to add? Did I even come close?
Yeah, the county is going to be looking to make sure you're not exceeding the 1%, and would reject it or prorate it if that were the case. That's the main purpose of this form, I believe.
And do you have any other further explanation about this sort of administrative amount that we get? And we've gotten it, seems like every year. Is it just like new math that I don't understand, or they like get to the end of the year and they realize that there's still something in the bottom of the coffee can and they distribute it? How does that work?
I'm not exactly sure on that. I'd have to look into those numbers more carefully, but it sounds like the chief has done that, and does not surprise me that there might be some just kind of small remaining issues from last year where you'll get additional funds for this year.
All right. So with that clear explanation, we'll need to authorize the or certify the levy, I guess, the amounts that the chief read. And again, those numbers were $6,597,438.70 and $29,846.75. Is there a motion to approve the levy certification?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous. Thank you. So if there's nothing else before us in the public hearing, we will close the public hearing at 11:09 a.m. and open the regular meeting at 11:10 a.m. And the approval of the consent agenda is our first item. That includes the meeting minutes of October 19th, the staff reports, the financial reports. The total revenue for October, being one of our two payment months, was $2,286,188.57. The expenditures for November were $701,573.06, and that seems to be pretty much a normal expenditure for us, correct, Chief? So,
Yes.
The reason I bring that up is that, you know, this is the time of year where we have to have enough money to get us to April, right? So we don't get enough money coming in every month from our taxes. April and October are our big ones. So from a smart budgeting standpoint, we have to have enough carryover in our reserves to get us from now until April when the tax dollars come in again. And I've been assured by our financial analyst and the chief that we do have adequate funds to bridge us through to April, which is nice to know. I'm not sure we'll be able to accomplish that next year, but we're certainly, I know the chief is doing his best to manage our dwindling tax revenues. So with that, I will read in the payroll and voucher numbers. Payroll was $315,743.75. Payroll tax vouchers, $64,677.50. Benefits voucher, $214,795.08. Monthly expenditure voucher, $105,463.57. Capital projects apparatus, $893.16. Wow, that's hasn't been that low in a long time, Chief. That's unusual.
Can't tell if that's a compliment or a rebuke, but I'll take it.
No, it's the way our apparatus has been having issues. It's kind of nice to see. Anyway, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions, comments? On the reports, I don't know if, let me just check real quick here. I guess the only thing I just like to make sure everyone is aware of the it was in the chief's report about our two retirees and sort of thank you get-togethers for them. I believe
Lieutenant Zylstra's will be this Sunday afternoon at 3 p.m. at Station 69. And then Lieutenant Smith's will be November 30th, which is next Tuesday at 2 p.m. at Station 61 in Blaine. These will just be, we're trying to follow the COVID protocols as close as we can, yet still do a little send off for them as they start their journey into retirement.
Yeah, and I certainly intend to be at both of those. If any of the rest of you can make it, that would be great. It's kind of crazy during COVID to try to celebrate our successes, but we certainly wish both Keith and Leslie health and happiness in their retirement. So with that, is there any other questions, comments, or concerns about the consent agenda? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. Thank you. Commissioner meeting reports. Who wants to start?
I guess I can start. I went to an all-county commissioner meeting here, what was it, last week? So what we covered there was Rich Davis is going to be at the next one, and he will be covering the topics for all the information that new commissioners or standing commissioners need. So if you're interested in that, I can send you an invite to that. It lasts 45 minutes to an hour. We will be doing elections of new officers for the Whatcom County Commission Board. And they've asked for a North Sound representative. I sent out an email. I might be doing that. I don't know yet. So we'll discuss that at the January meeting as well.
I got your message. I didn't reply because I didn't want to get volunteered, but
I don't like how I did.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know that the few meetings that I attended, it seemed like we were lacking in representation from the north end. But I think you would do a wonderful job.
Thanks.
Kimberly, I mean, you attended the conference, and I appreciate the notes that you sent out. I assume everyone got those. I know that they were so good that John forwarded them out to some of his colleagues.
Yeah,
Thank you for.
South Walken was trying to decide how many of those classes they wanted to buy online. So they were looking for some good notes on each class. That's basically what I did. I just took them and forwarded and kind of edited them a little bit.
Yeah, Kimberly, do you want to sort of enlighten us? I know that you're kind of newest to this group. Tell me what your thoughts were.
I am new. There was a lot of good information. I mean, it's kind of too much to, I feel, summarize in this setting without monopolizing our time. But just hearing from other districts and challenges of finances and cybersecurity and this new mandate about taking law enforcement taking less calls and the fire department taking on more of that, and just that crisis management, and just a lot of good information. And then plus the last was my favorite, just about leadership and resiliency and empowering our firefighters constantly about how valuable their service is and that they put their lives on the line every day. Yeah, reminding them of our appreciation and why we serve.
Yeah, that gentleman was an amazing speaker, wasn't he?
He was.
Did you guys get a chance to see? I had Jenny forward out that link to the Albuquerque article or the program that was featured on the national news. I thought it was quite interesting, at least as reported, that when they took those calls away from the police department, they actually funded a mechanism to take on those calls, which, you know, what a novel idea. In our case, I believe, you know, the legislature was trying to do something good, and they forgot the fact that if you take all those calls away from somebody, they got to go to somebody else. And there was, I don't think, any maybe true understanding of what that impact was going to be. And certainly other communities have struggled with that, and some have handled it way better than others. I just thought that was a pretty cool program, and it sounds like they've had really good success in the short time that they have added those social services. Meetings. We're still kind of meeting back and forth with District 4. I think we need to have a serious budget study session and include the District 4 commissioners. Next year is going to be somewhat challenging. We have forwarded our budget number, yes, Chief, to them.
Yep, we talked about budgets last night at the District 4 meeting. And so they have, they've been given the quarterly payment number and the overall budget number. And I'm just following that's how Commissioner Land wanted it to go. So I'm following his lead on that. And yeah, they had a discussion last night, and they have their budget hearing next Tuesday. So that will, I assume there'll be some more discussion after that. And I know that they would indeed like to get both a budget study session and also it's further on down the agenda, but not the contract for services, but moving forward RFA versus merger versus what do we do next?
Right, and we'll be discussing some of this in executive session later in our meeting today. So,
Do we know when they plan on having a full board?
pardon me?
They do. Actually, that last night, Commissioner Land was appointed So till the end of the year, they have a full board. Commissioner Land was appointed to fill in the gap between his position vacating and him starting his new position. It's almost a Venn diagram of how they're coming and going at District 4. It's a weird layover, but Commissioner Andrews and Commissioner Cooley reappointed Mark Land to his position until the end of the year, at which point he'll take over Harry's vacant, Commissioner Andrews' vacant spot. Then they will have to reappoint a third member of the board.
Okay.
Long story short, Commissioner Land was reappointed and will maintain his position as chair of the board.
Correct.
So, we did meet with the local regarding impact of COVID, and I will be having a discussion about some of that topic in executive session as well today. So, legal issues. Mr. Paxton, is there anything new brewing, changing that we need to know about?
Well, we had anticipated new vaccine mandates on a federal level. About 2 weeks ago, we received those guidances, one for employers with more than 100 employees, another one from the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services. We had thought that the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services might apply to fire districts. It turns out that it does not. And so I guess my legal report is nothing new coming to the fire districts from the federal perspective at this time.
But the state mandates are still in effect, which require that we be vaccinated.
Well, the federal ones would have impacted your administrative staff. The state one, you are correct, is still in effect, which affects all healthcare providers. Your firefighters, EMT, paramedics would fall within those categories.
Very good. All right. Any questions for Matt at this point? All right. Local 106, Scott, are you still there on your phone?
Yes, sir. I still am. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. First, I just want to thank everyone for all their hard work in the levy. We all know it unfortunately passed, but I appreciate everyone's help. I wanted to give a special shout out to Haley for all her work with planning the routes for the door knocking and the social media. And I also just want to thank Chief Intervening Commissioner Ansel for the open dialogue going forward without the levy passing as we continue to work together to figure things out. Next up, Chris Hollander ran unopposed for his union spot number 2, so he has that for a 2-year term. As previously mentioned in the meeting, there's the 2 retirees, Keith and Leslie, so hope to see lots of folks there because they will be missed. Also, as reported, the vaccine mandate MOU that was formally drafted to Chief Vanderveen and Commissioner Ansel. You guys are going to discuss that in executive. I'd also like to say that the new engine is in service at 69, and it's pretty awesome, and we appreciate it. Look forward to more of those coming online, hopefully. And a little good of the order, I'd just like to give a special shout out to Chris Hollander and Troy Freeman and Richie Dowdy for Bellingham for taking some boats out and helping people out in Everson and Sumas. Those are ones I've been made aware of. If anyone else I missed, I apologize, but just wanted to say thanks to those guys for doing that. So that is all I have right now.
All right. Thank you, Scott, for attending remotely on your phone.
No
All right.
problem. Thank you.
All right. Unfinished business. Levy lid lift. Where do we start? Chief, you got any words of
Uh,
wisdom?
I'll, in my normal sunny disposition, I'll start with good news, and that's congratulating Commissioner Crawford and McMurray on their unopposed
Very
runs
good.
at their positions. Thank you very much for your service. I appreciate it. I know the troops appreciate having a solid, committed group of folks, governing the district. And just from everybody on the floor, I want to say thank you for your service. Yeah, levy lift was obviously disappointing, but 2 out of 3, the people have spoken, so we're going to work with what we've got. I think that I sent out an email to everybody and included the commissioners in that. This is not reflective of what our people do on a daily basis. That's not what the people were voting for. I truly believe they appreciate and love the service that they get. When they call 911, I think there was, multiple things that went into the failure of the levy. And, the fact that it failed by a couple percent in August and then 10% in November was certainly telling. The sending out of the increased property assessments by the county certainly didn't help 3 weeks before the election. Just what's going on at the federal level, the divisiveness we see in our country, and the fact that we're a rural county. And I think there's a bit of a tax revolt going on. And obviously not going to speak to the politics that go into that, but I think we heard loud and clear that, a majority of our folks right now don't want a tax increase. I may have said it before, but I don't think they quite understand the way that we're funded. And that is definitely, if I've learned one thing in the last 2 years, it's trying to explain municipal finance to anybody is extremely difficult. And I hope it's confusing because it's confusing and not because we make it confusing, if that makes any sense at all. So yeah, we move forward from here. I think, the levy lid lift is, I guess in my opinion, it's dead. It's not worth spending much time over. Those elections are expensive and the run up to elections are expensive. And I think we need to, all of us collectively need to get together and figure out what's our strategy, because we took 2 runs at it and it didn't work. So obviously we need to come up with something different, whether that's, a tiny levy increase to, keep our day-to-day operations going. And then everything big that we need after that, apparatus and buildings gets bonded so that the public knows exactly what they're paying for. Maybe that's the solution. Maybe it's bake sales. I honestly don't know. I think we need to do some research with our public, and not just the public that we know, but the public that we don't know. Because everybody that we talk to, and when the firefighters are on doorbell, and everybody's in support, but obviously 60% of everybody's not in support, and that's okay. But we need them. We made a package and tried to present it to the public as this is what service we'd like to provide. They said no. So now we need to listen to our public and find out what level of service do they want, and do they understand what that means. That's really all I got to say about the levy lid lift.
All right, so in an effort to sort of dispel this fear in everyone about increasing taxes, I went back over a 6-year period and pulled my property value assessments and tax rates. And interestingly, in that 6-year period, twice my payment to the fire district went down. So between 2016 and 2017, my taxes to the fire district went down $15 for the year. And in last year, well, between 2020 and 2021, my assessment went up 6%, and my payment to the fire district went down $7. So I don't know how we inform the public, get the message out. I just went back and looked at my tax statements and figured out that, this fear of, wow, my property value has gone up, I'm dumping all this extra money into the fire district, why aren't they able to function, isn't true. like I said, mine actually went down and we still raised went up 1%. So it somehow the message is getting misconstrued in there. Just because your property value went up doesn't mean that the fire district got more of your money. And that's very frustrating for me. We did meet with Karen Reed. She said, yeah, 60% no vote is going to be hard to turn around to a 60% pro vote. And she didn't think it was worth our time and money to go down that path. And also I was contacted by the library, which they needed a 60% approval rate, and they're like 23 votes short of 60%. And so they are planning on rerunning their levy and wanted to know what we were going to do because they didn't want to run the same time we did. So I've been contacted actually by 2 different people from the library asking me what our plan is. And at this point, I intend to tell them that we certainly aren't planning on running another levy at least anytime soon, and that they should go ahead and move forward with whatever plans they have. So I thought for sure the library levy was gonna pass, and then I forgot about the 60% issue. So, I mean, if we can't pass an 11-cent by 60%, there's certainly probably not a whole big chance that we're going to pass anything bigger in the fire district at this point. That's my opinion. Future funding options. Boy, I think that's a meeting in itself that we need to sit down in our budget process and look at what we have. Do we need to surplus some fire stations and equipment? Do we need to do a bond? Unfortunately, a voter approved bond requires 60%. We've got station maintenance issues coming up. We're going to talk about a couple of those. We've got apparatus issues. Last time, the board passed a commissioner approved bond, which just sort of extends the payment out over a 20-year period. So, but that comes out of our regular budget. So, do we self bond? Doesn't require a vote of the people, but takes money away from a regular budget. So, hopefully you will all find time to have another long meeting and figure out what our options are, because they're getting smaller and smaller. Contract for services with District 4. We're going to be talking about that a little bit in executive session. The meetings that we've had with Commissioner Land have been positive, and that we have said all along we would like to extend our services for no longer than 1 more year. And in order to do that, we would have to be fully reimbursed for the cost of those services. And all the models that have been run that make any sense work out to be 25% of our operating budget, and that is the number that we forwarded to them. And if they find that is going to work for them, then we would move forward with an amended contract to present to them. After next year, I don't know what to tell you, what's going to happen. That they're voters. I guess the deal is that we can't, I don't think legally, sort of fund their department for them. We've we've given them a pretty good deal for many years by contract, but we can't expect our taxpayers to pay the freight for their voters who have chosen not to raise their levy. I believe they were are going to go below 80 cents this next year with their EMS levy. So their voters have gotten a really good deal for a long, long time, and they have chosen not to step up. And I mean, I hate to spread doom and gloom, but they may not be able to afford a fire department after next year. And I don't know how you message that to the population, until you put the close sign out on the fire station and they all wonder what just happened. So my 2 cents worth. Anyone else got any ideas? All right, law enforcement response. So I sent the link to that Albuquerque story to Mike Hilly at the county. I truly believe that there's money available in the county EMS levy, and I think it's irresponsible for us to be given another unfunded mandate. And so I think we as a board and the fire chiefs need to pressure Whatcom County to free up some funds to get some sort of social work response program together. Chief, do you have any insight as to where the chiefs are on this topic?
Yeah, there's we have the same concern, obviously the unfunded mandate concern, as well as training and safety for our people, which obviously comes before funding. We are the chiefs have been trying for years to also get some money for BLS transport. The districts took on BLS transport years ago, and yes, we have the ability to bill patients for that, but there's still a good portion of that it's not funded by anything other than the general fund that the district's budget. So it appears that we're close to an agreed upon matrix for how we would be reimbursed, and that would certainly be welcome. It's a decent amount of money. I don't want to quote anything because it's still in kind of the final stages of discussion, but it would be a good reimbursement for the district. So we're trying to take this kind of a two-pronged approach. One is, let's clean up the BLS transport that we've been talking about for 5 years, because we haven't got anywhere on that. And then we'll take on the training and funding of this crisis triage unit, or whatever, co-response unit, whatever you want to call it. But the chiefs as a group are extremely concerned. And I'm sitting on a subcommittee right now we're starting that communication with the county, that look, if these crisis type calls, law enforcement, the mental health type calls are going to come to the fire department, or going to be put on EMS, then fire is EMS in Whatcom County, and we need to be at the table from the beginning, not have the protocols written for us and then handed down to us when the public health and the law enforcement groups are all done parsing it out for us. So we're trying to aggressively position ourselves to be the leaders and make sure that our people are fairly represented and that we get reimbursed for the training and all these other things. It hasn't gone unnoticed by any chief that by the legislature's design, whether it's good or bad, law enforcement was forced to give up a good portion, or a portion of what it does in a day, But there's not been any revenue transfer to those of us that are picking it up. And that irks us a little bit. And we want to make sure that we are fairly compensated for what we're asking our people to do, irrespective of the training and safety issues. Nobody's come up with a good training platform for this. How do we train our people to go to that mode? For so long, we I don't want to say rush in, but we go in and we solve our problems to the best of our abilities. And now we're being asked to take on a class of calls that there may not be a clear solution to, and could be some of the a large physical danger to our people. So we want to make sure we understand how to mitigate that risk as much as possible and equip our folks to be able to handle those calls. A, so they can be so it's done safely, and B, so it takes the best care of the patient or the client, whatever word we're going to attach to these kind of calls. We want to make sure we're taking care of people. And just because on June or July 27th, they started transferring the calls to us, it doesn't mean they're getting taken care of any better now than they were before. And we've also pointed out that there's a huge lack of mental health and social welfare infrastructure here in Whatcom County. It's cobbled together at best, and it's not robust enough to handle what they want us to be able to do.
So stay tuned. We're working with the county. I've offered any support that we could to Mike Hilly in his position as he meets with the powers to be. He answers to a lot of people. And ultimately the funding is freed up through Whatcom County Council. So I told him that if he needs any support or documentation from us, that we would be happy to provide that. All right, facilities, Chief, we've got a Station 63 roof and tower. Do we have any updates on those two items? I think we saw the contract for the roof last time.
Yep, we're still waiting for them to get out there. It became more of an issue this week. We sent them some new pictures, and I know Sean was in contact with them yesterday, or Chief Ward, sorry, was in contact with them yesterday. And honestly, I didn't get an update from him as to when they're going to be out there. The tower has been looked at by the litany of people that need to look at it. It's had an asbestos abatement or asbestos testing done. There's no asbestos in there, which is good. It's been looked at by a structural engineer. It's been looked at by the people that could repair it. And it is actually repairable, and it appears it's actually more affordable than we thought. We wanted to get two bids, one for what it would cost to fix it, and that came in at roughly $60,000, which was shocking to us. But we're still interested in what it would cost to tear it down, because if they can fix it for a few years, versus how many times do we want to do this? And since deferred maintenance seems to be our middle name, we want to make sure that whatever we do is definitive, and we do it one time. So still waiting for the demo, what it would cost to demo the thing. But yeah, the repair job was actually more affordable than we thought it was. So that's a good thing.
And we need to look at, long-term plan for that. I'll call it a campus. I think that location is going to be integral to the community regardless. And the condition of that facility and the living conditions, et cetera, need replacement, in my opinion, and have for many years. We don't meet probably any of the structural requirements for a public safety building anymore. And that just kind of doesn't seem like the right thing to be for a public safety facility. So I think that becomes part of our long-term budget discussion too, as do we dump a bunch of money into a facility that might get major remodel or torn down, hopefully in the sometime near future, but anyway. So we're still waiting. I guess bottom line is we don't have a tear down price yet.
Well, sir.
And as far as the roof goes, we're moving forward with whatever maintenance and contract that we saw last meeting in our pack.
Correct. Yep. The problems have been identified and we're going to get them corrected.
Okay. Any questions, comments? Crickets? All right, new business. We need to plan a budget study session, and that has to occur before our December meeting, which is scheduled for December 16th. I think the chief and I were looking at calendars and was hoping somewhere in the week of November 29 through December 3, with the exception of Tuesday, the 30th, because that is Lieutenant Smith's retirement get together. So where do you folks fit in a budget study session? I know we got the holidays coming up, but we do definitely have to have something before the 16th.
Do we want to try to do this on a Saturday?
Well, that's up to you guys. Day of the week doesn't mean anything to me. I know it does to other people, unfortunately, but I'm open anytime, any day.
Saturday the 4th, I'll throw that out there in the morning.
Okay.
That's a good day for me.
That's not a good day for me. Can we do the Wednesday, the 8th, like the same time, 11? In between your shifts, John?
Let me check.
I think we need, well, Chief, you tell me, but I mean, I think we're talking like at least 4 hours.
I think it's going to be,
Oh.
I think we need to invite District 4 to it. And so that we can have, the possibility of 2 discussions. One is budget and the other is future funding.
And I know that Mark is off on Mondays.
Correct.
Is he off weekends too? Is he off Saturday?
I believe
Sunday?
so, yeah. Yep. I
Monday.
believe Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
So I know that he would be out during the week with exception of evenings, and I don't want to do a 4-hour meeting starting at 5 o'clock.
No.
Right. All right, I can rearrange some things. I can make the 4th if that's what works best for everybody else.
All right, well, let's tentatively put that one in and we'll confirm, and maybe Kimberly, you can talk to the chief and Jenny when you come in to sign the stuff and see, how that would work for you.
Okay. And if
Is
we did a
your
10 to
whole
2,
day tied up, or is morning or afternoon better for you, or?
late morning, early afternoon, I can rearrange, like if we did 10 to 2.
Does that work for
I
you
can-
guys?
Yeah, it works for me.
Mhm.
Rich?
I can bring us lunch.
We'll figure something out. Yeah, we should plan something for lunch too. All right, so I'm gonna put down 10 to 2 on the 4th. And then we'll have Jenny confirm that with everybody this next week. And then I asked, we need to get that out. This is one you want District 4 at.
Yeah, it turns out Commissioner, I just got a message, a commissioner lands on vacation until the 5th. So that won't work. And
Well-
actually looks like he's gone that week.
we still need to meet.
Yeah. And maybe we'll have to do it in 2 meetings. We
Yeah.
still need to do our budget study session.
Yeah. I mean, we have to get that in. If we abbreviate ours, or at least if we get our mud together, I mean, at this time of the year with everything, I don't want to miss an opportunity to at least get us together so that we can meet our obligation before the 16th. If we keep backing this up and putting it off, we're not going to get there by the 16th.
Yep.
So,
Good.
Assuming this is gonna have to be a Zoom meeting.
can we do 61s with the way we're set up with the public?
I'll have to get back to you on that. I don't know.
My preference is no, Rich.
That's mine too.
So we'll do everything within our power to, I mean, we've got that set up, right? To
Yep.
be able to stream that. But I mean, for something like this, where we're gonna be looking at numbers and who knows, building Lego models and fire stations or whatever we're gonna do, I think we can accomplish so much more in person than we're able to do via Zoom. I'm old school though, so. We will get back to everyone on that question, Rich. Again, I prefer to be in person.
So do I.
Me too.
All right, we'll see what we can do. All right. Thank you for that. Everyone is okay. The 16th, are we still 1 or 11 o'clock, John? Does that work for our next meeting?
This does.
Our regular meeting, regular special meeting. 11 a.m. on the 16th. That's good for everyone else.
Yes.
Rich, that works for you?
I'm looking here. I think I'm gone then. Yeah, I'm out of the country from the 11th to the 18th.
Well, we may just have to do it without you.
That would not break my heart.
You won't have internet connection?
Not where I'm going.
All right. I think we can get your input on the 4th. We can probably work with that on the 16th. Chief, does that work for you? All right. Any policies and procedures?
No, sir.
Correspondence, we had a final settlement from 2019 from GEMT, getting us another $28,635.65.
Correct.
And then various, let me see here. We had someone concerned about the vaccine mandate. We had 1, 2, 3, 4 thank you letters for our services. And letters in the Northern Light and Linden Tribune. So, does anyone else have any other correspondence that we need to be made aware of? All right. We got the board meeting attendance for the 16th. I know that, again, Scott Fisher won't be able to attend and Rich won't be able to attend. We'll still have a quorum, assuming that the last standing 3 of us don't come up with something crazy. Next meeting agenda items, probably contract with District 4. Continue with the facilities update. I think we're done with the levy lid lift for now. I guess future funding options can stay based on our budget discussions on the 4th. Anything else, Chief, that we need?
Nope.
Well, I guess that's going to be the approval of our budget, right?
Yeah, that'll be, yep, the approval of, yes.
All right. We need to have an executive session. I am thinking it's going to take 30 minutes at the least. So we will start with that amount, and this is for per RCW 42.30.110 section I, to discuss with legal counsel representing the agency litigation or potential litigation to which the agency, the governing body, or member acting in an official capacity is or likely to become a party when public knowledge regarding the discussion is likely to result in an adverse legal or financial consequence to the agency. That's one. And number 2, RCW 42.30.110 section G, to evaluate the qualifications of an applicant for public employment or to review the performance of a public employee. So those are the 2 items in executive session. It's 11:57. If anyone needs to take a break, we could do that, or is everyone on the board okay? Kimberly, you all good? John?
Good.
Rich?
Yep.
Okay. We will be back at 12:30. So we'll cut the live stream. Mike,
So,
we won't be able to have you in executive